Welcome to Overcoming the Challenges of Mentoring. Successful mentoring doesn't just happen, it's planned. Please let me know if I'm too loud because I do not need a mic and they're making me use a mic, so I don't want to blow people's ears out here. All right, this is me. I am Kim Crayton. I have a website called Junior Dev Mentoring. You can find me on Twitter at KimCrayton1. Or Junior Dev Mentoring, or my new project, 100,000 Intros to Code. All right, we'll talk about that. I also do a weekly Twitter whatever called Mentoring Minute, and I'm getting my doctoral degree in Business Administration, Technology, Entrepreneurship. And my doctoral study topic is strategies some software developers, senior software developers use to mentor junior software developers. So as you can see, this mentoring and this junior developer thing is very important to me. It's very much who I am. So let me give you a background of who I am. So 2014, August, I am an only child. My father passed away. And as an only child, that was my greatest fear, having to deal with the death of the parent. After that, I said, screw it. I've faced what I thought was the worst thing that could happen to me. So I went away to Maui for a week, and while I was in Maui, I sent back a text message, and I said, I'm going into tech, and yes, I put tech in quotes. I said, when I figure out what that is, I'll let you know, because at that point, I had no idea. I was that person who had an interest in tech, would watch the Apple keynote, not just to see what the products were, but how and why they did what they did. Why didn't they put that feature in? Because they were very good at explaining that stuff. So I was interested in how tech worked, but I never saw myself as a producer, just a consumer. But after that, I said, screw this. I'm going to spend this little money that he left me and figure out what this thing is. So I come back, and I spent 6 months going to conferences for free, because for the first time, being black with a vagina in Georgia really paid off. Tech is really embracing people of color and females. So I was riding that horse until, anything they were giving away free, I was taking. So for 6 months, I was just going to conferences. I went to my first JavaScript conference and had no idea what JavaScript was. I was just in the room. I was like, you know what? It was free. I'm going. I've never gotten free stuff like this before. I'm going to take advantage of it. So after 6 months, I realized, you know what, I need to learn this language of tech for me to be more effective. So people kept saying, oh yeah, learn the code, it's easy. Learn the code, it's easy. Ha, learn the code, it's easy. Stop lying to newbies. This shit's hard. So that's what started it. I wrote a blog post, and you can find it at Tech Talk for Non-Techies, because at the time I was just documenting my journey. There are a lot of people in your life that you know who have no idea what you do. They don't know a variable from a turtle. They just don't know. So many people ask when I say coding, they say, are you a medical transcriptionist? No, I'm not. I don't. And so this pissed me off because I started thinking I was stupid. So thank you, Jennifer, for being my part one to my talk. Because when we aren't honest to newbies, they feel like that something's wrong with us. And so, as we can see, technology is crazy. It touches every industry. There is no industry that I know of, and I've always put this out to my audience. If you can think of any industry that is not touched by tech, please let me know. Every industry is touched by tech. And so we need people to come into the tech space. We just need to do a better job of getting them there. This is Atlanta. Look how many jobs, that they say they can't fill. There is a need for people to, and it's not just college students. It's not just the people, everybody in school needs to, I believe coding should be their second language, K through 12. But that's still not enough. There are people right now who need to be in jobs, in careers, in industries that need to be reevaluating their skills because next year that job is going to be gone. And so we need to do a better job of bringing adults into the coding space. There's an ongoing mantra within the developer community that there are far too many jobs, but you know what? They don't get too excited about it because the people who are hiring, but there are not enough people out here coding, trying to learn to code. That's a lie. There are a number of people out here trying to learn the code. It's just too hard. I don't care if you've gone to a boot camp, you've done any of the the hard way, you've done code.org, you've done anything. That is not a developer, and that's another thing we need to stop lying. Your 3-month course does not make you a developer. There's some other things that need to happen to make you a developer. And to get those skills, somebody who has some experience is the person who can get you over that Grand Canyon, because it is like the Grand Canyon to get from the end of a boot camp or the end of any tutorial to that first job. It is a gulf. I mean, a huge gulf. And without somebody telling you, hey, that's a sinkhole, that's quicksand, hey, back off of that, you're gonna go, I mean, you have nowhere to guide you. This is the wild freaking West. There is no plan path to this. If I want to be a doctor, I know I need to do well in K through 12, K through 12. Go to college, pre-med, take the GMAT, get into medical school, get a residence. I mean, there's a path to this. There is no freaking path to this. I can wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, I want to be a developer. And I could have been doing dog toenails the day before. And that does not disqualify me from becoming a developer. So there is no path to this. And it's also costing, bottom line, it's costing businesses money. They cannot deliver on things, they cannot take on clients, they cannot do, because they do not have the people who can do this. So what we're going to talk about is the 4 quadrants of mentoring. Because I like to dispel this, because a lot of people get this mixed up about mentoring, so they think it's too hard, too complicated. And so I like to talk about the 4 quadrants of mentoring. People who are taking pictures, hurry up, because I'm about to change this screen. All right. Understanding the difference between personal and professional and adult and youth mentoring. Okay, so when I'm mentoring a young person, it's not about me at all as the adult. It's all about them. It's about making sure they become a tax-paying, law-abiding, won't piss people off citizen. That's the point of mentoring a young person. It's meeting them where they are. If they don't know something, I need to make sure they get it. Oh my God, it is mentoring their freaking families. It's never taken a day off. Once Christmas, I found myself, because some young, naive young lady decided she wanted to prostitute for the holiday. So I'm going around Atlanta with her mom looking for this kid who just listened to the wrong people and thought this would be fun to do. That's what mentoring a young person, they throw shit at you all day long. You never know when that call comes, what they're gonna tell you. It could be anything. God, is that stressful. That's why I left education. When you're mentoring adults, it's different. It better be mutually beneficial. If I'm not getting something out of it as well, sorry buddy, I'm moving on. You need to understand that. Mentoring adults is about usually helping them build their careers, moving to the next level. They're going somewhere. It's not this big, I have this blob, that's what mentoring young people is. It's a form that you just can't get your fingers around. Every time you grab it, it's not like that when you're mentoring adults. Oh, also, as a mentor of adults, you can be the role of mentor, mentee, or both. Personal. It can take on any form. It's unstructured, and it's often open-ended. That's the issue a lot of people have with mentoring, because they think about open-ended. When I'm mentoring, you're talking to an adult, and it might not be officially mentoring, but you're mentoring this person. If it's a friend, it's open-ended. You can't say, hey, you know what, I'm tired of this, because they're your friend. Like, okay, enough of this. It's too, yeah. It's just, there are no boundaries. There are no boundaries. It's just, and it's just touchy-feely. Professional, there are boundaries. I see you at work, or I see you when we schedule a time to see me. Don't call me when I schedule to talk. That kind of thing. You can't do that when it's personal. And it should look a lot like apprenticeship programs. That's a great model for mentoring. I'm giving you something. It's best if you can give me something in return. And it's well-defined goals and objectives. So we're going to talk about the two quadrants of adult and professional. Let me talk about what mentoring is not. Mentoring is not one-off problem solving. Mentoring is not Slack. It is not Stack Overflow. I go there when my house is on fire and I need to put the fire out. That is not where most people go to build relationships. There have been many times when I was developing, let me say this, I'm no longer a developer. I do code for fun now, which is weird. It's a hobby. Didn't know I was that geeky, but I guess I am. So when I'm trying to put out a fire, I go to, let's say I'm in Slack or I'm in Stack Overflow. I ask a question. It usually happens on Stack. You're rocking and rolling with somebody. It's 3 in the afternoon. You're rocking and rolling there. You're changing your code base. 5 o'clock hits. They're gone. They didn't say goodbye. You don't know if they dropped dead. What happened? Your whole code base has been changed as a newbie based on this person who has not said goodbye, has not said anything. That's not mentoring. It's not casual. It's not, I'll do it if I want to, or I'll do it if I don't. You know, if I don't feel like showing up, yeah. And it's not static, it evolves. What mentoring is a relationship. Okay. Mentoring is a relationship. It's a personal connection, it's commitment, and it can be professionally transformational. When I say a relationship, think about your best relationships in your life. You put time and energy, you nurture them. They're important to you. If you miss out on something or you're not gonna make it on time, you send a sweet little text message, running late, haha, you know, whatever. It's important to you, it's something that you care about. You don't care about, I mean, you might have a vested interest in it, but you know, it's like, I don't know this person. There's somebody in my internet somewhere, you know, I help them out. And then when it's inconvenient for me, I get called into a meeting, you know, I don't have any stake into it. So that's what mentoring is. So for me, it's about, people are always asking me, how do I get a mentor? It's about building relationships. And as you know, a good relationship does not happen overnight. So factors for effective mentoring. Mentors need to evaluate your motivation, be honest about your assessment of your time, your temperament, and your talent, and set realistic goals. A bad mentor is worse than not having any mentor at all. Please, let me repeat that. A bad mentor is worse than not having a mentor at all. Learning is a very scary place, particularly for adults. We're not used to asking for help. We're not used to making mistakes. We're not used to not knowing things. So when I've developed a relationship with somebody that I feel safe enough to ask those questions, and you are a jerk about it, you are doing more harm to the learning process than if you just found somewhere else, some other role to play that helps newbies. Stay away. We all know people who just don't need to be around people who are learning. They probably don't need to be around humans at all, but definitely not around people who are learning. They just don't need to be there. They don't even know. And they might be very sincere. But questions of like, that's easy. Why can't, don't do that. Why are you, oh my God, on Stack Overflow. I've learned to turn, when you ask a question as a newbie, somebody asked me what my stack trace was. I didn't know what the frick that was. So he sent this little nasty response. I killed him with kindness. I want to apologize for not understanding this, but so I won't make this mistake again in the future, could you please explain how I do this? Now that puts that back on this person. Because if you want to help a newbie, then that puts that back on you. He didn't respond back. Exactly what I didn't think you would respond back, but somebody else responded and explained to me exactly what I needed to do. Which goes back to Jennifer. You don't just leave somebody out there, you give them step-by-step instructions on how to do something. And you need to be able to set realistic goals because newbies have no idea what a realistic goal is. Again, there are 20,000 ways to become a developer. So they'll say, yeah, I want to learn JavaScript, Node, React, Python, Clojure, and I got 2 months. Because my family website needs to go up for the reunion. It takes somebody who knows, like, okay, these are the things you want to do. These are the things we can do. Because we have no idea what a realistic goal is. Again, everybody told us how easy this crap was. So you think, hey, in 3 months I can get this done. A mentee needs to understand reciprocity. If someone's giving you their time and their talent and their temperament, you need to be able to give something in return. It's a relationship. Who wants a parasitic relationship? Somebody who's just, well, yeah, we know what parasites do. Just feeding off of you. No one wants that. So you need to understand reciprocity. You need to respect the mentoring relationship. If your mentor gives you a deadline or a goal, that's something you need to have. Don't come to a meeting and not have your stuff done. Don't come to a meeting or if you were supposed to have something done and you have it, no one cares about your excuses. Like, we understand, like something of everybody else has those. No one cares. And also make sure you have identified your desired outcomes. Don't go, hi, I need a mentor. What do you want to do? I want to code. I just want to code. Code what? I don't know. I just want to code. Code how? I don't know that either. I just want to code. That tells you right there, they've not done any homework. They've done nothing. As a mentor, you need to make sure you want to put the things on them, because that proves to you that they have some skin in the game. If they say they want to code, then send them back, okay, go Google 3 things you want to learn. And if they come back to you, then you know they're serious. And then you can evaluate those 3 things. Reasons why development community needs effective mentoring. The industry needs to do a better job at recruiting and retaining the number of new developers to fill these jobs. Newbies have a hard time leveling up on their own. Learning to code is hard, and without somebody there to give you a reality check, you begin to think this is impossible, and you quit. Just as Jennifer says, people just quit. I just can't figure this out. It's just, and I'm going to tell you, and since there's no clearly defined goals, it's just hard to figure this out. I can tell you the reason I was able to, I'm happy with the fact that I'm not a developer is because of Python. So I had a mentor, I was going to JavaScript conferences, the meetup, and the guy kept saying, Kim, you're just not going away, so I'm going to mentor you. Then he saw what I was doing, he said, you know what, put JavaScript down. We're going to learn Python, I'm going to teach you Python. So this is what a for loop looks like? Oh, this is a function. Crap! For the first time, I was like, I could learn this stuff. So I don't feel bad that I'm not a developer, because now I know at least I can learn it. JavaScript with the freaking curly braces and the semicolons and the, God almighty, there's too much crap going on. Python was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, I was running through daisies. It was like, oh, this is great. It even got to a point, and all I was doing was Python, learn Python the hard way, the older version. Now I see that he's redone that, and I'm going to redo that. But I was able to now take some of that Python code and translate it into JavaScript. Yay! This makes sense, because a variable is a variable is a variable, whatever language it is. A function is a function is a function. I even understood objects and classes. I was like, I was about to cry. No, I think I literally did cry when I was doing classes, because I was like, I'm not stupid. I don't understand how I'm in a doctoral program and I can't figure this crap out. What the hell's going on? So this is why we need this in the community. Let me mention my pet peeve. Learners do not have imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is defined people who have senior level skills and still don't think they can do a job. Imposter syndrome is not learning. Learning is hard. Learning takes time. You don't look at a baby who's in a freaking crib that's just been born who can't flip over. You're suffering from it. Oops, what did I do? Oops, sorry. You're suffering from imposter syndrome. No, you're not. You just don't know how to flip over yet. It takes time. A baby, when they come to you and they're trying to walk and they're doing all this stuff like that, you don't say, and most people are like, oh, isn't that so cute? No, they're suffering from imposter syndrome. Just let them figure that out. When I make it sound, that sounds absurd, right? But we do it, we have newbies, we tell newbies if I hear one more newbie say they're suffering from imposter syndrome. So my job, please, if you hear that, please correct them. They're learning, and learning is hard. It's a natural thing to do. You take 2 steps back forward, and you're gonna take 10 backwards. That's what learning is. So, that is a big thing for me. I'd like to bring you to the developer survey that Stack Overflow recently did. 69% of new developers, or developers period, are self-taught. And how do they teach themselves? Projects. So yeah, and then they have 3.4 years of experience. Stop telling people, unless you have, I'm gonna be honest, now you can, I've never seen anybody come out of a boot camp, immediately get a job, if they have not had previous coding experience or a CS degree or something like that. I've seen engineers going because they wanted to focus and change careers. It takes a lot. There's a lot of information for newbies to get for them to be junior dev ready. They'll get jobs if they go to a company who's willing to invest in them and put their time into it. But most of them just aren't job ready yet. Project-based learning is the best way, coming from education, for you to, as a mentor, work with a newbie so it's not overwhelming. So let's say they want to do their website for their upcoming family reunion. You know that there's CSS in the front end, there's HTML, there's JavaScript, they have to figure out a back end, right? So let's start from scratch, meet them where they are, give them some kind of assessment to figure out what they know. If they say they know CSS and HTML, because they're forever saying they know CSS and HTML for some reason, just because they've taken some little test. Give them something, hey, mark this up for me. Then as the mentor, you have an objective way of saying you have these skills or you don't have these skills. If you don't have these skills, let's back up so you can get these skills. If you do have these skills, let's test the next thing. And then add those things together. It's all about taking baby steps and adding together. And you have an objective way of evaluating and building and helping them meet their goals. Mentorship programs are I don't know how they got to 125%, but 125% talk about mentoring programs before degrees and helping them get in their jobs. So what I want to do is take a few minutes. I want you to put yourself as either in the role of a mentor or a mentee. Think about it. You're in the role of a mentor or mentee. Think of 3 strengths that you have that you bring to that role and 3 challenges that you have to bring to that role. And if you're willing to report, raise your hand and I'll ask you what those things are. So if you're a mentor, think of 3 strengths that you bring to the role of a mentor and 3 challenges. If you're a mentee, think of 3 strengths that you bring to the role of a mentee and 3 challenges. Yes? What role, first of all, what role are you in?
Yeah,
mentor.
Yeah, and I've been a mentor for a few years already with different people. And strengths, I found out that it was easy for me to make a path for them to learn. It was, I think I got pretty good results and I made a strong connection. But it was really difficult to keep up with their pace, sometimes because it was either too slow or too fast. Sometimes it happened that some of my mentees dropped out very soon, some very late in the process, but they dropped out and we lost contact. And it was really hard to keep that contact going. And my third weakness would be like, sometimes I have issues finding that initial assessment of the person.
Okay. All right, so with your strength, I'm going to take your strength of being able to make that path, because that's great if you can sit up and set out a path for them to take. Your first weakness was the...
I said dropping out.
That was a...
Going either too fast or too
Yes, pace. That's something again, you need to assess for your own, that's why it's important to assess your temperament, because once you set out a path and both people as adults have agreed on it, they need to take their time, because learning happens at their time. So that you're not sitting around waiting around for them though, you give them assignments. And when they're ready to check back in, send me a text message and then we can schedule some time. So don't set up, if that's the issue, don't set up bi-weekly meetings, because they may not have anything to show you at a bi-weekly meeting. So if they want to meet with you more often, that'll give them the impetus to work harder to get the things done. Anybody else? Yes. Role of mentor or mentee.
So I actually have a very big mentor project that's very I guess 3 strengths. So I came into software engineering. So I've been classically trained and I've gone through schooling, but I came through it with the mindset of learning foreign languages. So I've been learning foreign languages for all my life. So I can relate really easily to somebody coming in brand new, trying to learn a language and understand the key concepts, right? So like when you learn Japanese, you have to learn the characters, you have to know how to put them together, you have to know order, you have to know the style, so on and so forth. I can be kind of empathetic, almost too empathetic with the struggle of learning, because we're all always constantly learning. And then I guess my third strength, it's kind of a strength and a weakness, is that very critical or hard on people, but it's not the bad being a jerk thing. It's more coming from a perspective that I'm always extremely hard on myself, because I use that in order for me to learn, and unfortunately, that can be positive in the sense that, I have vested interest in.
Okay, I'm going to address specifically that one.
On the flip side, that also means that because I've got such a high expectation to get better, that I can be very critical, and sometimes that criticality might not necessarily be what's right at that particular point in time.
So that's what I'm going to, so let me address specifically that, because a lot of people have that as a concern. So if a newbie, first of all, again, it's a relationship. You get to know how they take criticism, because one thing, it's not a bad, because they need to understand that that's going to happen in this industry. They're going to be criticized. What I would do is assess before you say something based on the relationship you have, because some things you can say to me, you can't say to that person in that way. So it's about understanding how they take criticism. It's not being soft on it or playing it down. It's being honest, but taking an evaluation of how they take it. Some people, it's best to just have us and write something, and have some check sheet. This is what I asked you to do. This is the evaluation of what you did. This is what you need to work on. That's enough. Some people want to have a dialogue with you. They want you to explain. So you really, again, it's always about their relationship, because you have to know how they take stuff. So just because it's your style to say it aloud, it might not be beneficial for them. So just figure out how to do that in an honest in an honest way. So these are the things, ways you can get involved. So when I spoke of a Slack, Slack is not mentoring, I just created a Slack channel for junior dev mentoring, because I wanted a place where they can build relationships. So that's what we do in 24 hours, I had almost 200 people on this site, international. Because this is a very important issue for people. And so people on that Slack channel right now, they've created their own groups. People have already bought in. The website is open source now. So it's a great open source project. We're trying to figure out ways so we can get people to do projects, open source projects. Those find newbie friendly open source projects and have them work on committing a PR. That's a project they can work on. So I can encourage you to join the Slack channel. We always need more mentors. There's in 2 weeks, a thriving Python community on there already. People asking Python questions. And it's not about getting mentors. What it is to build those relationships. And then you go back to the juniordevmentoring.com website, which is I think of as the eHarmony of mentoring. And then you match with someone over there. And then you make a commitment to work with them at least twice a month for a year. And then this is what this is, 100,000 intros to code. This is my my commitment. I'll be 50 in 2 years. I want to introduce 100,000 new people to code. And all I'm asking you guys to do is go to the Twitter, seeing how many people you're going to introduce. And all you're doing is saying, explaining to them what is code, why should they care, and where could they learn more. It's that simple. We need to get more people understanding what code is, because it is affecting our lives. It's affecting people's cars. It's affecting people's houses. And they have no idea how this stuff is all working together. So thank you. That's me.